Today we're going to be talking about Kenneth Gainwell, running back from Memphis, how he will transition to the NFL game, and how we can utilize him in fantasy football for dynasty leagues and potentially redraft in the near future. And we're going to talk about all this right now. What's going on, guys? This is Bruce Mattson, your host of the show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football. You can find me on Twitter at Metric Scout and everywhere else at that handle. But we're going to dig deep here on Kenneth Gainwell. Also goes by Kenny Gainwell, depending on where you see his name at. It is what it is. And very interesting prospect. Let's dig into his rookie draft profile here. So he's got a rookie draft ADP of around the early second rounds, where I'm seeing him getting drafted at, which is a good price point when you're considering his skill set, his production, and potential athletic profile. We're not getting the combine this year. We got pro days, so we got to work on those salty metrics, is what I like to call them, because, you know, the 40s are going to be pumped up, the verticals are going to be pumped up a little bit. It is what it is. We just got to do our best with it. But athletically, he is more than fast enough to get the job done. He can pull away from defenders. I'm not going to say he blazed the track at all, but he does have speed to eat up chunks of yards. He does have burst, and I like how he moves laterally. He moves laterally well, moves side to side very well to get away from defenders. If there's trash, he can put his foot in the ground, move right or left, and get away. And that's what I like a lot about his game. That allows him to do a lot of other things too. Allows him to sell moves, sell routes, and everything else. And his receiving game is what helps us most in fantasy. Him catching the ball out of the backfield, him lining out in the slot, running some routes. He doesn't have a high acuity route tree, but it's more than most running backs. And he has the profile of a receiving back who can do more. He can be leaned on as a three-down back. He was marked as around 5'11", 195 during his playing days with Memphis. He did not play this year in 2020. There's a good possibility he's heavier than that. He could have worked out this whole time, put on 5, 10, 15 pounds of lean muscle mass. He could have stayed the same. There's a lot of volatility there. There's a lot of assumptions we got to make. Until we get an official weigh-in, we don't know. He did not look super slight on the field. He did not look like a heavy three-down banger either. But I have some optimism that he can put on a little bit of size. When it comes to these running backs, you don't expect them to put on like 20 pounds, 25 pounds and jump up that much. But since they're grown men, they will put on a little bit of size throughout the years. And he's at that fringe point where he could possibly do that. When you look at him for comparison standpoints, if you want to look for size, athleticism, and all that, since we don't have a combine, it's hard to make one-for-one comparisons because you can't really go by the numbers. But Austin Ekeler, it's got that look of him, and you see a lot of people making that comparison. I kind of see why. It's an easy one to make, and his receiving game is what's going to help him out. His ability to catch the ball in the backfield and do more. And he's more than capable of carrying the ball between tackles. I'm not saying he's going to be a 25-touch guy. He could be very functional, especially for what we want in fantasy with like 15, 18 touches, 20 or less. I could see that in his range of outcomes. And then his price in the early second round is a very good value. You're talking about a running back who has rushed for 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns and has caught 51 passes in 2019. Good athletic profile, and you're getting him in early, mid portions of the second round. We don't know how the NFL will value him. He's got one good year of production. He did not play in 2020. And the NFL is weird when it comes to picking players. So there's a chance he could slip. There's a good chance that he gets taken in the second round, maybe early third, mid-third round. That's good draft capital. That's in the right situation. That's enough that could bump him up to the first round if he gets drafted to the right team, if he gets drafted to a pass-happy team that likes to check it down. the potential of him catching checkdowns, if he goes to a quarterback that checks it down a lot, that will impact his value. If he goes to a team that doesn't check it down, or if he has a quarterback that just stands tall in the pocket and wants to chuck it deep, that could eventually hurt his value because he's not going to get those cheap PPR points catching balls out of the flat as much. There are some people I've seen who are questioning his size, questioning his ability to handle a 3-down workload. One, I don't think he needs to handle a 3-down workload. He is good enough in the passing game. He has enough athleticism to eat up chunks of yards where he can provide enough to be fantasy relevant. I think he can put on, or he's probably already put on, some size to where he can handle more of a workload. That's something we'll see here in the future. And I've seen enough out of his intangibles that he has potential. And then his price right now in rookie drafts, from what I've seen in mock drafts, is more than palatable, more than enough to take that risk if you want to draft a running back there. Running backs, if they do hit early, they take a good rise up in value. That's one of the reasons why you want to stock up on running backs. Running backs are kind of hard to get in Dynasty, where wide receivers, they're easier to get. However, you're looking at some top tier wide receiver profiles in the early second round as well, so there's a trade-off point there. I like Kenneth Gainwell a lot. I've liked him as a Devy prospect. I kind of wish he played this year because it would have just added on top of that profile and cemented him a little bit more. I feel like there was room for him to grow and at least sustain or keep some of that value. I understand why not. I get it, but still, for his draft profile, value, whatever you want to call it. When it comes to Memphis running backs, they've been putting out some good runners. Antonio Gibson, Darrell Henderson, Tony Pollard. You can't say all of them are elite backs. Gibson has a chance. He's at least a highly coveted fantasy running back. Darrell Henderson is at least NFL serviceable. He's in purgatory behind Cam Akers. Tony Pollard's kind of in purgatory behind Ezekiel Elliott, but he's been showing some flashes as of late and could blossom in the right situation. But these are good backs. They're not trash backs, especially Gibson. Gibson has a lot of potential. I'm really high on him. So it's not like he's coming from a school that can't produce skilled players. He's a very good running back, has the potential, has the intangibles to help us out in fantasy. All in all, I like him. I like where he's being priced at right now, and I think he can be a value in this year's draft. Thank you guys for watching the show. It means a lot to me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you don't miss the next episode, because you know I'm pumping out these videos like fire, son. And you don't want to miss out, because I'm helping you win Dynasty Leagues. And that's how it works here. Anyways, thank you for watching the show, and I'll catch you next time.